taste and very, very untimely. It wasn't well timed. But should he have been cancelled? Should he have been, he's obviously he was cancelled as you expect. Should he have
Was
been
it
cancelled?
cancelled?
He was cancelled, yes. Should he have been cancelled?
Yeah, that's a loaded question, really, isn't it? Because
Mm.
my instincts, in terms of my reactions to his so-called humour, so-called joke, is
Yeah,
probably like many other people. Like, it's pretty disgusting
it is.
to make some sort of joke about the people of Liverpool on the back of something so awful.
Yeah,
So no, I detest what the man says, but it's like somebody said before. I detest and don't agree with what you're saying, but I will defend your right to say it. And I think the idea of cancellation, there
yeah,
will be exceptions where people should damn well be cancelled. But in a world now, and in a where people are cancelled just because somebody else doesn't like their point of view, is
yeah,
is it's the losing of free speech. And although, as I say, I would never condone any sort of comedian so called who chooses to get cheap laughs, if he did, on the
yeah,
back of something so horrible, which
yeah,
will affect people, as I said just now, for a long time,
yeah,
then yeah, I'd be, if I owned a concert hall or somewhere, I certainly wouldn't hire somebody who does that.
yeah,
But yeah, maybe we still, if we're interested in keeping free speech, we have to be prepared to take the rough with the smooth and, yeah, let them say it. Short of inciting violence, that
yeah.
isn't allowed in free speech. But a bad taste joke, I
Hmm.
don't think should end up cancelling people per se. But sometimes people vote with their feet and don't turn up for their shows, so it does work out anyway, doesn't it? Really.
It does, yeah. I mean, I was just thinking. I mean, I would have a dig, where you live, for instance. The South we would say Southerners are this or that, and of course the Southerners would say, Northerners are misers and stuff like that. That's acceptable, but I think it took it a little bit, a step too far, in my opinion. But whether it should be cancelled or not, um, I don't know. I don't know. Like you said, free speech has to be protected. But yeah, it was in bad taste. I mean, it should be called
Absolutely.
out for it. It should definitely be called out for it, and be
Mm.
made to apologize for it, and probably do something towards helping the victims to show to prove his remorse, or to prove his. I mean, he didn't say it maliciously. I don't think he did, but at least something to soothing the pain, the emotional pain, and of course the victims might be going through. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. So the next one is um, passwords and logins and stuff like that. Now we've had two major ones recently. I would say back to back. Um, I think it was Max and Spencer's. They had all their details of the customers, so because they were hacked,
Yeah.
and then it was followed by Co-op. Although Co-op tried to cover it up by saying that it was, an administrative mistake, and as such, none of their customers' details were at risk. But we know that is the jargon that you expect from multinational corporations when they're trying to
Yeah.
limit or do damage control, as we know. Now,
Surface.
or do damage control, as we know. Now, yesterday in the Metro, I've just read again that nearly 200 million passwords has been exposed, and and the companies that are actually involved are companies that you wouldn't think would fall prey
Mm.
to anything like that. And he's talking about Netflix. We know Netflix would, because Netflix been hit before, but then Facebook, Apple, and Google. That's a surprise to me that Google, Apple, and Facebook. I mean Google. Yeah, because they're tech giants, aren't they? But then
Mm.
Facebook and Apple. Apple, I know they're really big on security, but to say that they've been hit by a massive login and password data leak, are we safe? Are our details safe, bruv? What do you make of that?
No, it makes you wonder. I think these leaks do occur sometimes, don't they? I actually
Yeah,
had an email this morning. I can't remember which of the platforms it was from,
yeah,
but because I haven't really had time to look at it. But it just said along the lines, "Are you sure your password is safe?
mm,
Please read below for how we recommend you make a very strong password." Well, I kind of just glanced at that and I thought, well, I'm pretty confident in my passwords. Yeah, but clearly there is a risk, and I know Marks and Spencers has had a very difficult time, and I believe they've traced the perpetrator of that,
yeah,
somebody in this country. But quite what I suppose, a serious crime syndicate could benefit to all sorts of levels, money wise, from
yeah.
gaining passwords, but one or two individuals, I'm not sure. I mean, I probably don't know enough about it to really comment, but yeah, I certainly recommend anybody's passwords to be as safe as possible, but within reason, because so I keep a book of all my passwords because they tend
Right,
to be largely different passwords. I've got
right.
one or two which kind of cover a few things, but if for some reason I haven't made a note in my book when I've changed a password, then it can become quite difficult. So I try to have passwords which are sensible, safe, but not sort of as long as it can possibly be, because you'll trip yourself up in the end with that. But yeah, I mean, it's up to the companies, isn't it, to safeguard us as their customers, really. Same as banks, they've got to look after the security side of their operations for the same reason.
Oh, absolutely, because there's a lot involved in it. Isn't it? There's our personal lives these days where we post